can't
Mm.
Oh,
Beautiful, Elle. Oh my gosh.
beautiful.
I just had my heart melt. Thank
That's
you.
what that puddle was?
Yeah, thank you, honey.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to this Sunday. Yay. Whether you're here, right here in this building, or in live stream land, welcome, and we are so glad that you are here. I'm Reverend Divine, this is Reverend Liz, and we are co-ministers here at Unity of Fort Collins. And we just want to say that no matter where you are in your path, because we're always evolving, we're always growing, right where you are is perfect. And the gifts that you bring help to add greater love and joy and community. That's what we're all about. We're about community. And so each and every person is part of that component. And again, where you are on your path is right and perfect. And that we just support you in your continuous growth and evolution in life. And we do that with humor and love and sometimes a lot of silliness. So again, welcome, and we're so very glad that you're here. Do we have some announcements?
Oh, we always have announcements, and you always look forward to this more than probably any other part, right? Because you got to know what's going on, get the information. So, first of all, is there anyone here for the second time? You know, that's Mike. Oh, good, great, awesome. 1, 2, 3, 4, second timers.
Awesome.
Yes. Well, thank you for coming back. We are so happy for your presence with us, as well as everyone else. Any first-timers here today? Oh, great. Thank you for joining us, and look forward to, I see you too. Any first-timers online? Raise your hands. You know,
and we're glad you're here too.
I wish, you know, I have this way of seeing you. You believe that. So thank you for your presence here today. You are the present, you are the gift. And this is about, as Reverend Divine said, it is about community. So what's happening here at Unity this coming Wednesday, and it's the first, it's this coming, it's the 20th. I know what I'm doing. Humor.
That's where humor starts?
It's called Wednesday, and that's October 20th. And on Facebook, there is a meditation, and we have all of our meditations on the Wednesdays recorded. So if you want to have a meditation, you go to the Unity of Fort Collins website. No, that's not it. Facebook. I didn't have enough coffee or too much coffee. And anyway, you can push on the videos and have a meditation. It's 30 minutes, and that is our gift to you, a way to hit the pause button in life. I believe next Saturday we have something going on, and Leanne is heading that up, and she's here today to tell us what is going on.
I'm just going to talk loudly from here. Can you all hear me? Yeah. So for a lot of you new folks, I've been around for about 20 years, and one of the things that I love to do is lead volunteer days. And we always have an outdoor cleanup in the spring and then again in the fall. So this coming Saturday, the 23rd, we're going to do an outdoor cleanup. We have a certified arborist who's a member of our congregation, and he's going to come with a buddy and trim trees. So we need people to pick up branches and carry them over and put them into a trailer that we're going to have. And we'll do some other cleanup projects like cleaning up some of the flower beds. If we get enough people, we also may try to wash our windows inside and out. So I have a sign-up sheet, but I'm not going to pass this clipboard. I'll be outside afterward by the table where there's the prayer box and other information. So if you guys are interested, you can sign up for a couple of hours or all day, whatever you'd like, and I can give you more info. Claire, did you have a question?
Do you want us to bring like step stools or ladders or anything if we're gonna do windows?
Possibly. So when I see how many folks are signed up, I'll send out an email and remind people of what they can bring that will help. Thank you.
Thank you, Leanne. Let's give her some love for heading this up. And for those folks online, you're welcome to come and join us for cleanup day. Just saying.
And if you don't live locally, just send your loving energy so that it's all done in fun and ease.
That's perfect. We do have kids in the house, and so we're just going to raise our hands and send vibrations of love to those kids back there that are learning about unity principles and connecting in that beautiful space that has been created by the youth and family ministry team. And I know that the kids that go back there love the space. I'd like to be a kid and go back there myself and have some play time. So tell your friends, tell your neighbors that there is something that they might want to bring their kids and have a see if that kids like that energy. And just for those first timers and second timers, if you didn't pick up a guest package, we have a guest packet out on the table if you want to know more about unity. And you can always talk to any of us about such things. So I think on that note, we're going to go ahead and start in some prayer with the Reverend Divine.
Yes, we're going to start out with our unity blessing. And it's on this lovely sheet if you don't know it. And if you don't have a sheet, you can make sure that next week you pick one up unless you want to run over to the table and grab one now. And if you say that out loud, collectively that just fills the room with that energy. Our unity centers us in light and peace, allowing us to recognize our God within and to radiate that love to the world. And now if you'll just take a moment to go inward, if you will, so that we can just center ourselves, to remind ourselves that there is only one presence. That presence is in and through absolutely everything, always present, and it's right here in our hearts. And that I choose to call God, source energy, love, universe, whatever resonates for you. That energy is right here in this room, and we are filling it up. We are filling it up so that we are open to receiving the music which so lovingly opens our heart, creates joy, creates safety, creates permission to have exactly what we're having right here and right now. And if there are emotions that come up, that too is part of being able to be present to what's going on within you. And that then opens you up to hearing the message so that you are inspired, uplifted, whether it touches you in a funny way, in a serious way, whatever that is for you, that something about it feed your soul today. So I'm just knowing that this time we bless and allow ourselves to relax and breathe it in and be present. And calling this time good and very good, I am just so grateful, and let it be. And if any of that resonates with you and you feel called to anchor it with me, I'll anchor it by saying, and so it is.
And so it is.
Gerald. There's a voice within talking to you, Gerald. I was feeling it. I was loving it. But I need to love it with him up here. Everybody falls sometimes. Gotta find the strength to rise from the ashes and make a new beginning. Anyone can feel the ache. You think it's more than you can take, but you're stronger than you know. Don't you give up now. The sun will soon be shining. You gotta face the clouds to find the silver lining. I've seen dreams that move the mountains, hope that doesn't ever end, even when the sky is falling. I've seen miracles just happen, silent prayers get answered, broken hearts become brand new. That's what faith can do. Impossible is not a word, it's just a reason for someone not to try. Everybody's scared to death when they decide to take that step on the water, but it'll be alright. Life is so much more than what your eyes are seeing. You will find a way if you keep believing. I've seen dreams that move the mountains, hope that doesn't ever end, even when the sky is falling. I've seen miracles just happen, silent prayers get answered, broken hearts become brand new. And that's what faith can do. Overcome the odds, you do have a chance. That's what faith can do. When the world says you can't, it'll tell you that you can. I've seen dreams that move the mountains, hope that doesn't ever end, even when the sky is falling. I've seen miracles just happen, silent prayers get answered, broken hearts become brand new. That's what faith can do. Oh, faith can do. That's what faith can do. Even when you fall sometimes, you will have the strength to rise.
Good morning. Excuse me. My name is Reverend Julie Legg, and I'm going to share the daily word with you this morning, Sunday. The word is free. Living from my divine nature frees me. Sometimes I feel limited when I don't think I have enough time, money, space, education, or experience. These thoughts can occupy so much space in my mind that I begin to think that limitation is the truth. The greater truth is that I am free and unlimited in spirit, alive in God. I am free to express all the love, wisdom, and strength of the divine as only I can. What joy and liberation it is to know that nothing can separate me from my true spiritual nature. If I believe any circumstance in my life or any of my past actions obstruct or delay my spiritual progress, I now release that belief. I now release that belief. Embracing and living from the divine presence, the Christ within me, I can claim freedom from all limitation. And the affirmation again is, living from my divine nature frees me.
I'm sorry, I don't have a scarf.
We couldn't find one for you. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. All is well, all is well. And now I see what my life can be when I trust in the process and have faith. And now I know when I just let go that I have all I'll ever need. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. All is well, all is well, all is well. One more time. I relax, let go, I release and I surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. I relax, let go, release and surrender. All is well, all is well.
All right. Has anybody relaxed? And surrender. I don't think I need this mic. I have many mics and stands. And we're just going to rearrange the furniture. So, who knows what the topic or power is this month? Release. Oh my gosh. And Julie, Reverend Julie, beautiful, emphasizing the release in the talk, in the reading. And thank you, Elle, Leanne, and Gerald, because that is just. And Karen Drucker, come on, let's give it up for Karen Drucker, because I don't know if you know this, but Karen Drucker, who is a New Thought musician, she's got about 20 CDs, and you can find her online easily. I have all of her CDs. I know all of her music pretty much, and she has gifted us with her pretty much everything that she has in her repertoire, and makes it so easy for the ministers and Elle and team to bring forth the music that you're getting. So this last song was by Karen Drucker, and the next one after the talk will be also from the beloved Karen. So I would like you to all, let's take a deep breath in and hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. And whenever you're ready, you can let it go. Well, that was a little demonstration of, 50% of life is taking in. 50% of life is taking in. And what's the other 50%? Letting it go. It's all about 50% of that taking in and letting go. So, how many of you have stuff that you know that you could let go of? How many of you have emotional baggage that you could let go of? Or limiting thoughts and beliefs that you could let go of? Isn't that interesting? So we're going to be talking about this thing called release. I know you've heard various aspects of it. Reverend Leanne the first week and Reverend Divine last week. And share some things and thoughts about release, because it's an important topic. If it's 50% of our lives, and we tend to have this holding on to stuff or people or situations that no longer serve us. Isn't that interesting? So the definition of release by the authors in Power Up Your Life called release is the power to discard, let go, eliminate, liberate, dismiss, to remove. And this power of release is what helps us to let go of things that are no longer serve us or are no longer useful or we don't use. It also is the power of release that assists us in letting go of those limiting thoughts and beliefs, which oftentimes carry with them emotional baggage that we need to have the release on. Now, our physical bodies are a great example of this part that's called release. We just demonstrated the breath. We take oxygen in, and we let the carbon dioxide out. And without the breath going in and releasing out, we wouldn't be having life. How about food? We eat food, we digest, we put in, and we have to release waste. Otherwise, we're going to have some major problems. So it is this inflow and outflow. We buy groceries. You know, we bring in stuff into the house, and the garbage truck comes and takes away the garbage. It's a continual flow. Everything that there is an inflow to, there needs to be an outflow, a release. How many of you have ever been to Israel? Anyone? Couple of you. I've had that opportunity. There's two bodies of water, the biggest bodies of water in Israel. One is called the Sea of Galilee, and the other one is called the Dead Sea. Now, the difference between the two is the Sea of Galilee has plenty of fish and life, and there's plants life in there, and the Dead Sea has no life. It just has salt deposits, basically. And so in that, what's the difference? Sea of Galilee has an inlet from the north and outlets to the south into the Jordan River. While the Dead Sea has an inlet from the Jordan River, it has no outlet. It has no place to release. Therefore, it's dead. Life is about flow. And without release and an outgoing, there is no life. So we want to have life. We want to have this flow in our lives. Now, let's talk about one of your favorite subjects. How about stuff? Y'all have some stuff? Anybody have too much stuff? Some of you might be minimalists and not have any stuff whatsoever. Now, when it comes to stuff, do you have more than you need? More than you use? Do you have things that are no longer useful? The underdeveloped power of release are those folks that tend to take things all in and have a real hard time releasing them. Sometimes lovingly called pack rats, right? And they're disorderly. There's chaos with their stuff because they're hanging on to their stuff. And we got some tunage going on. More stuff. We also, those folks with the underdeveloped sense of release will hang on to relationships or jobs or situations that no longer serve as well. Those folks are just having a hard time letting things go. Then you have the overdeveloped power of release, where you want to release everything, and perhaps prematurely. You want to just, like the minimalist doesn't want anything, so just prematurely maybe lets things go, like relationships or jobs or situations. Often they can be wasteful and sometimes even throw the baby out with the bathwater. So, truth be told, I think that we all have fallen into one of those categories to some degree or not. Would you agree? Yes. I think it's probably more rare to have the minimalist. I think it's more common that we have more stuff. I mean, how many people have storage areas and boxes of things that have you gone through and looked at it? So, how many of you would feel that you would benefit by letting go of some stuff? Anyone not? I don't see any hands. So we want to be in that mode called release, because life is meant to be a flow, a constant flow. Now I'm going to talk to you about the book called Divine Audacity. And by the way, we have Power Up and Divine Audacity, which speak of the 12 powers of humankind that are spiritual powers that we have. And that was formulated by Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity. And he looks at the 12 disciples, and he sees that each one of them have a special ability, and that we all have that same ability. It's just learning how to use it in balance, not underdeveloped or overdeveloped. So in Divine Audacity, Reverend Linda Martella-Whitsett, she speaks of congestion. Okay, that's when there's a block. There's obviously not flow. Congestion, you might have nasal congestion. You might have constipation, another form of congestion, arteriosclerosis, when you have not a flow easily in the arteries. And anytime that there's a congestion or a block, it's a sign that release is being called for, that power of a release. If there's a place in your life you feel stuck or stagnant, something needs to be brought forth in this power of release. So she talks about life being a flow. And she says, life flows naturally. Always, life is streaming. Bodies of water flow through inlets and outlets. A body of water stopped at its inlet or its outlet stagnates. It stinks. It dies. Damning the mind with unforgiveness, self-criticism, or non-constructive beliefs produces stinkin' thinking, right? So you can have the physical form of congestion, or you can have that internal form of congestion. Now, Reverend Linda speaks of 3 modalities of release. And to be truthful, when I first read this, I didn't resonate very well with it, because some of the terms, 2 of the 3 terms that she used, are not in my repertoire, and they felt more religious. But I dug in, and I looked deeper to see what was, to me, the truth that she was really the high point. So I'm going to briefly share those with you. The first one she speaks of is cleansing. Now, I could relate to cleansing. And she speaks of how we release dirt and germs from our bodies. And we do that by bathing, by showering. Well, there's a spiritual component that would be equivalent to that, and it's termed baptism. Anybody been baptized? Yeah, some of us. I also was in Lake Erie and didn't even know why I was doing that at age 20, but it felt like something I've called to do. So baptism is normally known as washing away your sins. We don't really go into the sin department here at Unity. We have a different idea of what sin is, and it's mostly missing the mark. Reverend Linda speaks to this, and she said, sins are misperceptions and misunderstandings of divine nature and our divine identity. I'm going to say that again. Sins are our misperceptions and misunderstandings of divine nature and our divine identity. She says this can be removed, this idea, or dissolved with a gentle shower of awareness. I like that, a gentle shower of awareness of who we are. She goes on to say, sin, contrary to centuries of thought, is not and cannot be an offense against God or any estrangement and turning away from God, because nothing can separate us from the divine. It's breathing us. It's our true infinite self, nature. Only the mind can feel separate. And when we feel separate, we can clean our mind with the power of release. She says, the cleansing power of release restores our awareness of our original and true nature. Now, when I was 20, I was at a Christian college in Upland, Indiana called Taylor University. I'd been called into the ministry. Of course, right after that, I had to wander in the wilderness for 15 years, but that's another story. So when I was there, at the end of the second semester I was there, I felt like God was a million miles away from me, and that was my understanding of God at the time. And it also came clear that God loves me unconditionally. What I also became aware of, I didn't love me unconditionally. What was a big aha. And I thought, and my opinion is obviously more important than God's. God can love me unconditionally. So I knew right then and there that my mission in life was to learn to love Liz unconditionally, as I felt Spirit was that unconditional love. And the more I have learned to love all of me, and that's all of me, my light and my dark, my shadow, then I have the more of a capacity to love others. That has been my mission since being 19, 20 years old. So that's speaking of cleansing my mind of an idea that wasn't true, that I wasn't loved. I was loved, but I had to switch my gears and do some cleansing about that. So we're going to the second word that she talks about, modality of release. This one, never used this word in my life. Renunciation. Like, what? Renunciation. I'm like, okay, what is that anyway? She speaks of it, but I looked it up. Renunciation is the formal rejection of something, typically a belief, a claim, or a course of action. So what is it that we need to spiritually renunciate? That's the question. What do I need to reject? Reverend Linda says we need to reject our sense of limitation. How many times have you felt limited? Hey, I'm only human, right? We have that tendency because it's been conditioned into our minds. Reverend Linda says that renunciation needs to be is of our sense of limitation rather than our humanity. Releasing the I'm only human consciousness is releasing our sense of limitation. When we release our belief that I am only human, we uncover our divine identity that has been intact all along. We do not have to acquire our divine identity. We only need to release a limited sense of self, our finite, to reveal the infinite self. We're infinite. We just don't think of ourselves that way. We have been conditioned minds that we are limited. It's not the truth. And that's part of what you get to do, and that the exercise is called denial and affirmation. Denial and affirmation. It's part of the Unity teaching. And an example for me was I was at Unity of Tustin taking a retreat with Reverend Marge Britt. And during that retreat, I kept getting, there is no Liz, there is no Liz. And it wouldn't stop. And it just continued that night, and the next day I was like, there is no Liz. Isn't that interesting? There is no Liz, then who is here? And I was like, God. The only one here is God expressing as Liz. But there is no Liz. And I was like, that actually freed me up. I got it on such a depth. We are not who we think we are as personalities. Yes, we have a personality. But there is no divine. There is no Claire. There is no Jan or Reagan. It's just the divine in this costume of personality that we call divine or Claire or Jan or Reagan. And so it was a change. It was a release of a thought that I am Liz. And it basically freed me up because no longer did I have to say, it's all about me. Well, it's about God as me. It's a real tough one to move through, but when you get there, it's freeing. Third modality of release. You've probably heard this one. Repentance. like, what? And wasn't born in a religious background, and I'm grateful for that. Repentance. This was not a term that I've ever really been using. However, repent actually means something maybe differently than what we were taught. The actual word in Greek translated to English means a change in mind, a change in consciousness. There's also another word that's a Hebrew word translated into English. The Hebrew word shub, which I had to look up how to pronounce that. Shub is actually translated to English means to restore, to turn back to return and come back or turn back. So there's no condemnation, just a releasing of the past ideas. Because everything starts in our ideas. So as a spiritual practice, release means that we change our minds and we release the idea that we are anything less than divine, so that we can return to be the unlimited beings that we really are, but we don't know that. Know that with the very cells of our being. Once you get that, you realize that there are no limitations whatsoever. No limitations. And when you don't have limitations, what do you experience? Reverend Julie spoke of it. Freedom. Freedom. Thich Nhat Hanh has this beautiful quote. He said, letting go gives us freedom. And freedom is the only condition for happiness. If in our heart we still cling to anything, anger, possessions, anxiety, we cannot be free. How many of you would love to be more free? I believe we all have that longing. We were born free and we want to come back into that expression. So how do we do this? Well, first of all, in the next 2 weeks, we're still in the month of release in October. Get busy and pick a drawer, a cupboard, a closet. Some of us go, oh, I don't want to go there. There's too much, right? You can change that up. Again, it's all in your mind. I'm doing paperwork release, and I'm like, that's the last thing I want to look at. But what I realize is when I'm doing release, it's actually a meditation. Because when I'm going to release something, I'm actually having to pay attention to it, keep or not keep. And I figured the one that's breathing me is helping me. No. And if I don't use it, if I don't love it or use it, lose it, right? So clear out something. Just start, and actually you'll feel better. I now wake up in the morning going, what am I going to get to release today? It really can be invigorating. What am I going to get to release and recycle or to the thrift store? It actually can be a joyful experience. So again, changing your minds about such things. If you have some internal places where you're feeling resentment, anger, frustration, any of those low vibrational feelings, there's always going to be a thought behind the feeling. Locate that which I want to release in the feeling zone, because we're feeling people. Find out what the belief is. Ask yourself, what's the belief behind that feeling? Write it down, and then do a ritual. Rituals are important, and you can do it with someone else or with yourself. You could burn it, you could shred it, you could bury it. It's a way of going through denial because you're releasing it, saying, that's not it. I'm done with that. Then you want to replace it because nature abhors a vacuum. So you want to go deny it. I'm released. This has no power over me. I let it go. The truth, and that's when you go to the truth, because the truth is what's going to set you free. So you make an affirmation of truth, and you repeat it over and over and over. One of my favorites is, want to know what it is? And you can have it too, because it's not inclusive or not exclusively mine. When I had fear running in my life, I needed to bury the fear. What am I going to replace it with? Word was trust. And because I won't go into the stories because I want to move through the rest of the service, But my affirmation was, God is my source in whom I am trusting. God is my source in whom I do trust. God is my source in whom I am trusting. God is my source in whom I do trust. Say that with me. God is my source in whom I am trusting. God is my source in whom I do trust. It is powerful to repeat that over and over and over, and pretty soon it's like, oh yeah, that's right, because you start to take it in and rewire your brain. And I like it because it has both components. I am trusting as an activity, and I do trust as a fact. So we're going to close today's service, this talk, this message, with a meditation. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, and we can have the musicians just come on up and just be in the background here, as they will be. And so closing your eyes and taking a few deep breaths. And just breathe in and let it go. Another breath in. And release. And just now focus upon the breath. Notice the intake and the out breath. As you focus on the breath, you remember that it's not you that's breathing. It's the one life. It's the power, the presence of divine love. It's breathing us, and we're conscious of that breath of love filling us up and letting go. And now as we breathe, allow the one that is breathing you to bring to mind something that's ready to be released. Now keeping your eyes closed, but in the eye of your imagination, see before you a table, a long table. It's no ordinary table, you notice, as it is shimmering with a golden pink light. It's so beautiful. And you realize that this non-ordinary table is actually an altar. It's the altar of love. And so now you take whatever has come to mind and you lay it down on the shimmering light table of love, the altar, to release it, knowing that love absorbs it and it dissolves back into its native nothingness. And now for the next minute, continue to allow anything that needs to be released come to mind, and see yourself laying it down on the altar of love. limiting thoughts. Resentments to release. Relationships or situations. Just lay it down and set yourself free. Feel the lightness as you continue to release to the altar of love all burdens, any heaviness. Let the altar take away anything you need to let go of. The altar of love.
Lay it down, set it free, let my heart rest and let it be. Lay it down, set it free, lay it down on the altar of love. I was walking through a season of dark and lonely change. World on my shoulders, my faith had been rearranged. I knew I wouldn't be given any more than I could bear. Spirit reassured me there's an answer to my prayer. If I lay it down, set it free, let my heart rest and let it be. Lay it down, set it free, lay it down on the altar of love. Every single moment I'm left with a choice. Stay in separation or listen to that voice. It beckons me to open and be grateful every day. Simply reminding me there's another way. Gotta lay it down, set it free, let my heart rest and let it be. Lay it down, set it free, lay it down on the altar of love. Love is all there is, and love will lead the way. I'm gonna lay it down, gonna set it free, gonna let my heart rest, and I'm gonna let it be. Gonna lay it down, set it free, lay it down on the altar of love. One more time, we're gonna lay it down. Help me out. Set it free, gonna let our heart rest, and we're gonna let it Gerald.
Oh, now that we've laid that down on the altar, ooh, it's time for our prosperity blessing. And in other times, we would be passing the basket, so to speak. We do have baskets at the front and at the side for those of you that choose to give in a form of cash or checks as opposed to those who give in the online presence. But for right now, the prosperity blessing, if you know it by heart, read it with me or say it with me, and if you don't, again, it's on this lovely little paper. So, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. And now if you'll also join me with the prayer of protection. And again, if you don't know it, it's on this lovely paper, and if you do, just out loud with me. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light. The love of God unfolds us. We are the love. The power of God protects us. We are the power. The presence of God watches over us. We are the presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and
Feel
yes,
free
it
to make a circle
begins
around the
with
room.
me. So sorry. Let's all circle up, and then I'll start it over.
Feel free to do that.
I'm just way too fast. Thank you, Gerald. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God as our creator, family all are we, as we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Love it, Leanne. Yes, it begins with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, this is my joyous vow to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. All right. Hey guys, you want to hit friends on the way out?
Oh.
Yes or no? Oh, sorry.
Hello? Hello. Before you leave, I have something that I need you to hear. Okay, I have your attention. Thank you so much. I'm going to do a benediction in a moment. However, we have some important information, some sharing, some updates that are going to happen with Ann Hudgens, our board president, our council president, and that's going to happen in about 5 minutes. We're going to give you some time to go have a restroom break, but please be in the sanctuary with your masks still on, please. It's important. We want you to know some things that are happening, and it is important to have you all present. So just wanted you to be aware that you're not going to jump in your car, unless you absolutely have to. So let's just take a moment to go within. Take a breath, and if you care to just listen or repeat after me. I am so grateful and happy
I'm so grateful and happy
that I understand release better now
that I understand release better now
than I did when I walked in the door.
than I did when I walked in the door.
Release is important.
Release is important.
I embrace releasing
I embrace releasing
with a joyful heart.
with a joyful heart.
knowing I'm setting myself free
knowing I'm setting myself free
to be all I can be.
to be all I can be.
Release is fun.
Release is fun.
I'm doing more this week
I'm doing more this week
and enjoying freedom.
and enjoying freedom.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Yippee-doo.
Yippee-doo.
And yippee-done.
And yippee-done.
Thank you so much to our online folks. We love you. We bless you. Take a break, everyone else, and we'll see you back here in about 5 minutes, unless you don't need to leave the room. But we'll be with you in about 5. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Gerald, friends.